Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 3DSWare review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Speedthru Potzol's puzzle, which if you've never played it before, it's a puzzle game and it's actually a sequel to Through Space, which was released on the WiiWare service around about 2 years ago, around about 18 months ago, although I only found out about it because of this game here. So, at the start, you get single player or two player. Now, you can play two player over Wi-Fi, of which I have no idea what it plays like because I don't know anyone who's got the game. It's the only downside really to handhelds. It means that local player isn't really something I can always show off. However, side by side, you can do side by side, quite simply. On side by side, the whole point is each of you uses different control methods. So one of you uses the D-pad, one of you uses the face buttons, and the whole point is to match up what's going on the screen, which I'm actually doing simultaneously, or at least trying to do simultaneously by inputting the same button commands with both my right hand and my left hand whilst I'm talking, which is actually a hell of a lot harder than it looks, but I just simply want to beat them. There we go, so I beat them at the same time, so I'd imagine it'll come up draw. Although no, apparently my right hand was faster, which isn't surprising as I am right-handed, but still I thought I'd done it both together. And anyway, with while that looked incredibly simple, you do actually get a choice of the different bricks. So there's the T block, there's the Z block with a block on the top of it, there's a T block with two blocks on each end, there's, I suppose, an I block with a block on the end, there's a L block with 3 blocks added on, and all of them obviously make the gameplay way harder, and it's the same with the single player as well. Under local player, it does say though, if you go into hosting, at least I thought it did. I must obviously be looking in the wrong place. Either way, I think it says that there's 2 different modes, but I think the other one must just be the single player, but like multiplayer, so race mode, because the single player is this here with basically they've added a story to it. It's no longer a case of you just get a couple levels and that's it and it's for high score. This has basically been done for everyone who wanted a much bigger game, and oh boy is this going to be hard to do with my eyesight sitting behind a camera. But anyway, they've added a level system and a story and all that, and the whole point is there's now 90 different levels, I believe, or over 90 I think. It's actually, when I got on me count, it's just obviously there's a couple that are enforced tutorials that I personally don't think you can class as levels, but either way there's over 90 things to do on it, and the whole point is you've got to go through the puzzles, collecting as many as the I think the hearts on this one, I think there were jewels on the last one, either way the little red dot things, whilst also completing the trick system, which to complete the trick system is the same as the last one. You've got to superimpose the image by filling up every available slot, and well, for an explanation of that, for example, I'm a 3 block overall, so if there was a 3 by 3 block posted together, I'd quite simply have to, and I bet you I'll die doing this, but I'd have to move there, so that would be one, and then I'd have to set up to move there, and then that would be another one, and that would quite simply be I'd have covered the whole area, and then I'd just have to go through the hole, and I'd get the bonus for doing it. One of the things you might have noticed there, though, that they've changed while I was trying to set that up, is they've now added a kind of safety feature in, so that if you're about to smash into the wall, it gives you a couple of seconds to quickly adjust. And I apologise for the hiccup there. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, they've added the safety feature in, and I think they've done that purely because it could be a bit brutal on the last game, where if you went through a wall and there was another wall right up against it, and it did become a case of not so much skill but memory learning when they were going to be 2 right together, because going at high speed can be crippling when there's 2 right together, because you still do get the speed ability on this, so you can hold the L button down to quite simply speed up, and you do get the face buttons which change your thing in all different ways, and that was probably a perfect way of showing the trick system off. That was a T block shape, but obviously I'm not a T block. That was an L block and I'm not an L block, and I messed that one up. But there, that was a T block and I did get that one sorted, so that's the trick system shown off and hopefully explained right. And the safety feature, as I say, does help with the high speed of the game. The face buttons, I think, work better than they did on the WiiWare version. I'm noticing less control issues, but maybe it's just because I've played the game a hell of a lot more now. overall, this is just a much bigger package for less money, and it's a far superior version of the game, quite frankly. If you can only get one of them, I would definitely recommend just getting this one, because it's bigger, it's better, graphically it's great because it's actually got some real visuals now. Nothing to distract you or anything, or detract from the actual gameplay, because it's still just putting shapes through shapes, really. So like square peg, square hole, rather than the old-fashioned idiom of square peg and circle hole. It's still very simple gameplay, but it's still incredibly addictive, incredibly hard. It's not the type of game that you can beat through in an afternoon. The last one was, because there was very little of it. This one, I think it will take you many a night of sheer frustration just trying to beat it. And it's one of those that I like what they've done by adding a story to it, because it's kind of an excuse as to add a load of new levels, but at the same time the story isn't anything all that great. I think they'd have probably been better off just doing different block sections and all that. So like, this is very Aztec style theme. It would have been nice to maybe have a lava centric style theme and an ice style theme and just things like that. But either way, it's a fantastic game, very hard, very pick up and play. It's a proper style, easy to pick up, impossible to master type. Just again using another kind of idiom. It's the type of thing that many people have said about Tetris. But I'm warbling on now, and I can't exactly let you listen to the music, but I think they've done a great job like they did on the WiiWare one. Graphically, hopefully you can see they do a good job. I haven't shown the bottom screen off, but that's literally because the bottom screen just reminds you what direction the flip, which is actually something worth showing off, because it's a big deal, I think, because I did complain in the WiiWare video it would be nice to sometimes know which way, and that the controls were frustrating because of that, and it's why I had to use the classic controller and had to learn which button moved in which direction. So to have a reminder there at all times does, I find, help me out personally. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid, or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel, because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.